everyone, I'm Jolyn, the dietitian for Minmed Group. Today we're going to make two dishes, the skinny mushroom soup and the miracle noodle shredded chicken salad. Let's have a look at the ingredients for the skinny mushroom soup. We have over here 300 grams of button mushrooms, cleaned and sliced, 1 large white onion, chopped, 3 garlic cloves, chopped, 1 tablespoon of soft margarine it's best for you to look for the healthier choice logo. We have 400 ml of water over here, 1 tablespoon of plain or wholemeal flour, 125 ml of high calcium, omega no sugar soy milk, some black pepper, parsley flakes, thyme leaves, and a 1/4 teaspoon of low sodium salt. Now we're going to use a non-stick pan today to brown the mushrooms first. The reason why we're doing this is we want to release the fragrances from the mushrooms. When you're using a non-stick pan, you can use a little bit of oil or you can choose not to. But I've chosen to use some oil today because I want to allow the fragrances of the mushrooms and the oil to combine together. So the heat to change, or rather to put the pan in, is actually at really low heat. So first, we're going to add in the garlic, right? And this garlic will give it its really nice fragrant along with the onions. Alright, now what we're going to do is get the garlic and the onions, saute this in the pan for some time first, and we can actually smell the natural fragrances coming from these two herbs. Then you're going to add the mushrooms in. Now, how do we normally wash or store our mushrooms? Basically, what you need to do for your mushrooms is that only keep them, alright, and don't wash them until the time you're about to cook it. Don't also soak your mushrooms because it's going to absorb a lot of water. So what you need to do for mushrooms is just before cooking, what you can do is that just quickly rinse it under water, or you can actually wipe it with a damp cloth. Then just cut it up and then it's ready for cooking. Alright, now mushrooms are a great source of B vitamins. It is also really rich in protein. So this makes a really good low fat and high protein option in your soups as well. Right? Now, what we're going to do in this step is really to saute the mushrooms and the onion and garlic together, and we want to actually release the juices from the mushrooms. So what we're trying to do now is to let the mushrooms release the juices and dry it up first before we add it into our soup. Okay, so now this process will take a little bit longer. So we're going to pan fry it first, okay, and just leave it like that. Okay, now you can see the moisture from the mushrooms are really quite dry now. So what we want to do is to set it aside, and we're going to change into another pot because now we're going to really make the soup. So what you can do is that put the mushrooms at the side first. Alright, next we're going to transfer to another pot over here. This is where we're going to actually make the soup. Alright, so in a large pot, what we're going to do now is to add in some soft margarine. Now, for margarines, it's best for you to go for the ones with a healthier choice logo. And another tip for you is that to go for margarines that are made with polyunsaturated fat, such as sunflower oil or olive oil. So we're going to now melt the margarine first in the pot, again on low heat. Alright. Now, next we're going to add in some either plain or wholemeal flour. Now, this is actually really important because if you want the mushroom soup to be thick, we're actually not using any cream today. Okay, we're going to use flour and margarine to thicken the soup instead of cream. So what we need to do is really to mix it well, alright? And as the margarine is melted, you realize that the flour will also be quite well combined with the margarine. Alright, now next we're going to add in the water, right? Because we need some liquid to dissolve the flour and also the margarine. Okay, now I'm going to add in all of it. Alright, just keep mixing. If you do see lumps, after a while when the solution or soup is heated up, right, you realize that the flour will also be dissolved. Alright, so this process is actually good because you actually get to mix it really well, and that gives the fragrance of the soup later on. Alright, so again, the heat to put the broth would also be at either low to medium heat, right? Because we want the heat to slowly build up to actually heat up the soup, and so it can dissolve the flour. Alright, so as you can see that the flour, alright, it's gradually dissolving. This is the time where you can slowly add the mushrooms mixture in, where we have cooked it earlier on. Okay. Now you can see all this mushroom goodness inside here now. Alright, there's no need to lower the heat. What you can do is really just put all the mushrooms in. Alright, so you want to bring the soup to a boil and you let it boil for 5 minutes. Alright, so now we're just going to give it a good mix. You can actually smell the fragrance of the mushrooms now. Now, mushrooms are a great source of protein, and so it's really recommended for us to add it into our dishes, because mushrooms on its own is actually a really good flavor enhancer, and it really flavors your food so much that sometimes there's actually really no need to add any seasonings at all. Now, as the flour and the mushroom mixture is cooking, you realize that it becomes thicker as you cook it. Right? So this is the effect we want, because we want our soup to be both skinny, which is low in fat, but at the same time still have got this consistency of a mushroom soup. Okay, so next we're going to add in, alright, our high calcium, no sugar soy milk in here. We'll add it in now. Now, when you add this in, you're going to further thicken the soup, and this is the real goodness, plus the fact that the soy milk, alright, has got a lot of isoflavones, which is actually the phytoestrogens, the plant chemicals that has been known to help protect our heart as well. It is high calcium, hence it's also effective in promoting bone health. And the protein, again, has been known, alright, if you have at least 25 grams of soy protein a day, it can help protect your heart as well. Alright, okay, so as you can see that it's going to slowly boil. If you want it to go to a rolling boil, you can actually increase the heat. Right? What I'm going to do now, right, is going to add in some low sodium salt. Now, 1 teaspoon, alright, of regular salt will give you around 2000 milligrams of sodium. However, the low sodium we're using today, it's only 50% sodium. So hence, when you're using low sodium salt, remember to use it as how you will use a regular salt, so that you don't end up adding, double the amount, and hence, equates to the same amount of sodium. Alright? Okay, now for the finishing touch, we're going to add in our lovely herbs. Okay, I'm just getting a dash of parsley flakes. Now, if you want more of it, no problem at all. You can just add in a little bit more for this fragrance. Some ground pepper. Okay, just a dash of it. Alright, and a lot of times when we are cooking, it's really important to add in all these herbs and spices, because it really helps enhances the flavor of your food without adding extra salt. Now, having foods that are low in sodium will naturally help in reducing, of course, the amount of salt you're eating. In the long run, really help in reducing the incidences of getting high blood pressure. Now, I'm going to dish out the soup in this lovely looking bowl. Now, another suggestion for you is that you can actually eat it with either multigrain bread or wholemeal bread, just as an accompaniment. Alright. On top of that, before tucking in, we're going to add in some chopped coriander. Now, doesn't it look lovely? And here we have for you your skinny mushroom soup. We'll make the miracle noodle shredded chicken salad. Let's have a look at the ingredients. We'll have over here 200 grams of chicken breast, half cup of cucumber shredded, quarter cup of carrots shredded, half teaspoon of low sodium salt, 3 teaspoons of sesame oil, half tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, half teaspoon of sugar, half medium red chili, thinly sliced and de-seeded, 200 grams of shirataki noodles, blanched in hot water for a few seconds, 2 teaspoons of fresh parsley leaves chopped, and 45 grams of toasted unsalted cashew nuts. Now let's prepare the chicken. First, in a pot, add some water. Okay, we're going to blanch the chicken breast now, all right? And it is advisable for us to remove any visible fats from meats because that will greatly reduce the amount of saturated fats. So we're just going to put the chicken breast in here to let it blanch, and next we're going to move on to make our dressings. If you want to prevent the chicken breast from overcooking, always reduce the heat. Okay, now in a bowl, we're going to now mix the rest of the condiments to make the salad dressings. Okay, we're going to add in our sugar, our rice vinegar. So for this dressing, we're going to achieve sweet and a little bit sour, and the spice will come from the chili, so then this will give it a really nice, lovely sweet and sour and spicy dressings. We're then going to add in some low sodium salt. Remember, when using low sodium salt, always use it at like a regular salt. So I'm just going to mix it well, okay, and give it a good mix till all the salt and the sugar is dissolved. And meanwhile, keep an eye on the chicken so that it doesn't get overcooked. Okay. Now, the chicken breast we're using today is high in protein, and it's also really best to really opt for white meat compared to red meat because there's lesser saturated fats in white meat. Okay, so now you can see, alright, let's give it a good mix to make sure that the salt and the sugar is dissolved. Alright, you're going to set this aside. Now, how do you know whether the chicken is cooked? First, you need to make sure that it actually changes color. Alright, so it's actually from pink now to a solid white color. Another way to do it is to pierce through it and to make sure that it goes through. If it's not, then just put it in the water to cook for a while longer, right? Because the fork was actually hard to go through the chicken earlier, right? Other ways to doing this is that you can really replace the chicken with maybe tofu. So then that will give an option of vegetarian if you like. Other ways to do it is that you can also add in things like prawns that are deshelled, right? And that gives us a good source of protein as well. Removing the heads of the prawns will actually really help in lowering the cholesterol. Alright, so, and the other ingredient we have actually, alright, is the shirataki noodles. Right, just want to let you know that shirataki actually means waterfall in Japanese. And the reason why it's called shirataki noodles is because when you lift it up, it actually really looks like waterfall. And it is also another name called miracle noodles. And the reason being because it is really high in fiber, and it's made from this yam called the konjac yam. Now, this konjac yam is extremely low in carbohydrate and high in fiber. And hence, some studies have also shown that if you have, enough portions of these shirataki noodles, it can really help lower your LDLs. So this makes a really good low calorie and low carbohydrate option in your salads. All right. Now let's check if the chicken is cooked. What you will need to do is to put a fork through it, and once it goes through nicely, then we know that the chicken is cooked. We're now going to lift the chicken out from the pot. All right, and we're going to shred it using 2 forks. What we're going to achieve is actually shredded chicken. All right, so it's actually really easy. If you like at home, you can actually use your hands to do it as well. All right, but using a fork would also be equally effective. Okay, so basically, you just need 2 forks. Okay, 1 fork to stabilize the chicken, and the other one really to just pull it off like that. Okay, now what you can do also is that you could use other meats as well. So you can use salmon if you like. Of course, then for salmon, it's best that you cook it fully, and this can also be added into the salads as well. Okay, so we're going to now shred the chicken fully. Now, this salad is good to be taken as an accompaniment to your meal. You can have it as a main dish as well, because the noodles will give you some carbohydrate and the protein from chicken. And also, later on, we add in some vegetables from the carrots and cucumbers, and that will make a complete meal. Just remember to add a fruit at the end of the meal to really complete it. Okay, so now I'm just going to shred the chicken into chunks of it. Well, if you like the chicken to be a chunkier, then, there's no need for you to shred it so finely. It's best that if you want to do it more fine, then you can use your hands to do it. Okay? All right. What's going to happen next, all right, is I'm now going to add the chicken into the dressing. Okay, you can add it right in. Okay. Next, we're going to add in our miracle noodles. Now, this shirataki noodles absorbs flavor and oil really well. So remember that you're going to add it into your sauces. Remember that you want to reduce the oil that is used, because if not, then these noodles will absorb all the oil and flavor as well. Now I'm going to give it a good mix and make sure that the dressing will coat the noodles and the chicken completely. We're now going to add in our shredded cucumber. The cucumber will add some fiber. It's extremely high in water as well, and also the color and crunch to the salad. Feel free to add in other vegetables if you like, other green leafy vegetables if you prefer your salad to be green and also higher in fiber. We're now going to add in shredded carrots. Now, carrots has been known to be extremely high in vitamin A, so it can really help in protecting your eye health, and it also adds this really pretty color to the salad. Okay, last but not least, we're going to add in some shredded chili. If you like more spice to your salads, you can add in some chili padi, no problem at all. Basically, chilies are high in vitamin C, and if you eat it raw, it's actually boost your vitamin C intake in that aspect. We normally eat the fresh chili. Alright. Okay, so our salad is almost done. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to dish it up onto another plate. And we're going to garnish it with our parsley and our source of polyunsaturated fats from our cashew nuts. Okay, there you go. Alright. Okay. The sesame oil in the salad would give it its really nice Asian touch to this salad. Okay, so you can just dish it up first. Okay, now we're going to add some cashew nuts on top. And our cashew nuts are a good source of both mono and polyunsaturated fats, which has been known to help boost heart health. Last but not least, some parsley on top. Okay, and our salad, it's ready. And here we have our miracle noodle shredded chicken salad. I hope you enjoyed these two heart-healthy dishes. For more information, visit the Singapore Heart Foundation website.